Hello my friends, and today I have again a lot of bad news for you from the front. So unfortunately, the occupiers are advancing again. So it's evident that they are throwing all their forces into the breakthrough until assistance from the US and the UK arrives for the Ukrainian Armed Forces. But there is also good news. The US assistance package for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan, totaling $95 billion, has generated enough votes in the Senate for approval. So it can confidently be said that aid to Ukraine will arrive soon. And therefore, the occupiers are rapidly attempting to advance. Furthermore, it can now be said with certainty that long-range ATACMS missiles will be introduced in Ukraine, and most likely it will be with these missiles that the possibility of destroying the Crimean Bridge will emerge. Okay, and now let's move straight to the situation along the front line and start with the Chasiv Yar direction. Here, the occupiers are breaking through to the Novy microdistrict, and battles are taking place there. So it's important to note that this is an official statement from the General Staff. So unfortunately, fighting is already underway in this area, which is very bad. Battles are also ongoing in the Ivanivsky area, and the occupiers continue their attempts to finally capture the populated area, but they haven't achieved success in the past day. Additionally, there are battles for Klishchiivka, and a large number of shelling incidents are recorded both in Chasiv Yar and other frontline settlements. But the situation is even more complicated in the Avdiivka direction, because here, after the capture of Avdiivka, the occupiers have advanced significantly. So in fact, they have advanced about 13 kilometers beyond Avdiivka. Unfortunately, today it has been confirmed that the Russians have captured Novobakhmutivka, practically in its entirety. So the advancement amounted to 700 meters, and only 400 meters of one street remain under the control of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and battles are ongoing there. So it's evident that the Russians have started to advance quite rapidly. Battles are also underway in Ocheretino. So the occupiers are trying to expand their controlled territory to the north of the town center. Battles are also ongoing for Novokalinovo, in the area of Berdychi, and further south. So the occupiers are assaulting Yasnobrodivka and Netailovo. Unfortunately, they have already managed to break into the settlement here, and the Ukrainian Armed Forces are trying to repel the Russian assaults, which is very difficult without a large quantity of weapons and ammunition. Therefore, the front line has started to move significantly in favor of the Russians. Additionally, a large number of skirmishes along the entire front line continue unabated. In the direction of Marinka, the occupiers continue their offensive actions towards Georgiivka, and from Novomykhailivka they are moving towards the village of Konstantinivka. So there have been no changes along the front line in this direction over the past day. In the Vuhledar direction, the occupiers have resumed their attempts to break through towards Vodiane. So the Ukrainian Armed Forces are doing everything to stop them, but the situation is challenging. So there have been 17 attacks along the entire direction in the past day, indicating a sharp increase in activity. So this suggests that the Russians are aiming to achieve success as quickly as possible. Battles are also ongoing for Urozhaine and Staromayorsk, but the Ukrainian forces are repelling all attacks and the front line remains unchanged. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the situation is more stable. So Shalin is ongoing, but without any offensive actions reported. So despite unofficial claims that the Russians have advanced into the settlement of Robotyne, this information is not confirmed, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Kherson direction, there continues to be heavy shelling on the right bank, with occasional attempts to storm the village of Krenke. However, despite the challenging situation, the Ukrainian Armed Forces remain on the left bank and maintain control of the foothold. In the Siversk direction, the occupiers persist in storming Bilogorivka, and today they have once again breached in the area of Verkhnyokamensky, with battles reported near Spirne. However, there have been no changes along the front line. In the Crimea direction, the occupiers relentlessly storm the village of Tarny and have resumed attacks on Yampolivka. However, near Torsk, they made no progress yesterday, and there have been no changes along the front line. In the Svatovo area, the occupiers failed to break through near Novoyegorivka, so today they attempt to attack near Berestove. However, they haven't achieved any success, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Kupiansk direction, shelling continues, but without any offensive actions, so the situation remains stable here. Meanwhile, efforts to fortify the defensive line continue, with reports of additional funds being allocated.
Through the redistribution of state budget expenditures, today we allocate more than UAH 8 billion for the construction of fortifications. Thus, since the beginning of 2024 alone, we have allocated almost UAH 38 billion to strengthen our defense lines. And we are not going to stop there. Our task is to create a reliable defensive rampart that will protect our soldiers and give more advantages to our army on the battlefield.
Meanwhile, Russian Telegram channels report drone attacks on an oil refinery in Voronezh, Russia, and on fuel and energy facilities in 2 districts of the Smolensk region.
Бля, вот эти не жахнули. Вон там ты уже тушить начинаешь. Да, вон тип не бахнул. Блять, как тепленько.
Meanwhile, due to the threat of Ukraine's defeat, Britain is increasing its defense budget.
The right thing to do is to invest more in our national defense, and that's why we're going to go to 2.5% of GDP by 2030, starting today and steadily increasing. Ukraine is important because an investment in Ukraine is an investment in our security. If we don't deter Russia in Ukraine, all we're going to do is embolden Putin to go even further, and indeed embolden other adversaries around the world to do the same. And that will end up not just costing us more in the long term, but undermining the world order that we spent decades building.
Meanwhile, Russian lawmaker Zhuravlev is outraged that life has become the main value among young Russians.
Кто будет воевать? Понимаете? У нас поколение 30 лет воспитывалось, что? Да не, так сказать. У нас главное что? Ценность какая? Какая главная ценность? Жизнь главная ценность, понимаете? Меня с детства воспитывали, я не знаю, у меня сначала страна, потом мои родные, близкие, потом мои ценности какие-то, а потом только своя жизнь. Вот это вот ценность.
And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.